Imagine growing up to discover your parents sold you for just $1,100. Not abandoned, not neglected, but sold. That sounds like the biggest betrayal from a loved one, right? Well, everyone, meet Joshlin Smith. She was 6 years old in early 2024 when it all began. She lived in Saldanha Bay, a small coastal town in South Africa, with her mother, Raquel Smith, who most people knew as Kelly. From the outside, their life already showed signs of collapse. Kelly was 35 years old, unemployed, and addicted to methamphetamine. She lived with her boyfriend, Apollos. Money was always scarce, drugs were always present, and stability was non-existent. From a very young age, Joshlin depended on adults who were unreliable, impulsive, and overwhelmed by addiction. Joshlin attended school regularly and was known to her teachers and classmates. She was small for her age and often arrived unkempt, sometimes hungry. Teachers began noticing. So did other adults in the community. It was clear her home life was chaotic. Kelly had no steady income and relied on handouts and favors to survive. According to witnesses, she frequently spoke about financial stress and drug-related debt. This background matters because it explains how the following unthinkable decision slowly became possible. On the morning of February 19, 2024, Joshlin was at home, and nothing appeared unusual. There were no signs of a struggle, no screams were reported, no neighbors heard fighting or distress, but at some point during that day, Joshlin disappeared. Just like that. By the evening, neighbors began asking questions. This was the type of community where people looked out for one another, so a missing child could not go unnoticed for long. And when questions were directed at Kelly, her answers raised immediate concern. At first, Kelly told people Joshlin was with her boyfriend. When that explanation was challenged, she said she wasn't sure where her daughter was. Later, she suggested Joshlin may have been taken by someone else. Each version contradicted the one before it. Instead of clarifying the situation, Kelly's stories became more confusing, more evasive. Police were contacted immediately, and what began as a missing child case quickly escalated into a serious investigation. Joshlin's disappearance spread rapidly through the community. Officers launched an official search while neighbors combed nearby areas. Her photos circulated across social media and news outlets. Many believe she might still be found close by. But while others searched desperately, Kelly's behavior stood out. Witnesses testified that she did not appear distressed. She did not show any sense of urgency. She did not actively participate in the search for her own child. Several people described her as emotionally detached, almost indifferent. On its own, that did not prove guilt, but it deepened suspicion. Then, police began receiving statements that shifted the case in a far darker direction. One neighbor told investigators that the day before Joshlin disappeared, Kelly casually mentioned she had sold her child to a sangoma, a traditional healer. Other witnesses later confirmed hearing similar remarks from Kelly made at different times to different people. And the amount mentioned for which she sold her child was about 20,000 rand, roughly $1,100 US. But what made the claim even more disturbing was the alleged purpose. According to witnesses, Kelly said the child was wanted for her eyes and skin. In simple terms, for ritual purposes. These statements shocked everyone, including investigators. While prosecutors could not independently verify every detail, the fact that Kelly repeated this story multiple times became central to the case. As police dug deeper, more troubling information surfaced. A local pastor testified that Kelly had spoken about selling her children as early as 2023. Other witnesses said Kelly offered them money to remain silent after the disappearance. After putting all the information together, prosecutors argued this showed intent, and that Joshlin did not disappear by accident, but instead became a financial solution to her mother. Police arrested Kelly, her boyfriend Apollos, and a friend named Stevino von Rijn. Investigators believe the three acted together, either to sell the child, transport her, or help cover up what happened afterward. But despite extensive searches across land and sea, Joshlin was never found. There was no physical evidence revealing her location or her condition. During the investigation, Kelly made yet another statement that raised alarms. She told Joshlin's teacher that the child was on a ship traveling to West Africa, but no evidence supported that claim. No shipping records, no witnesses, no follow-up details. Police argued it was an attempt to stop further questions rather than provide answers. By 2025, the case went to trial at the Western Cape High Court. The defense focused on a single argument. There was no body. There was no direct proof of what happened to Joshlin after she disappeared, and that was true. But the prosecution focused on what could be proven: Kelly's own words, consistent witness testimony, the financial motive, and the complete absence of effort to protect or recover Joshlin. The judge explained that human trafficking charges do not require a body. The crime is defined by intent, planning, and coordination. The court reviewed how Kelly's explanations repeatedly changed, how she spoke openly about selling her child before the disappearance, how she attempted to silence witnesses, and how none of the accused made meaningful attempts to locate Joshlin. In May 2025, the verdict was delivered. Kelly Smith, Apollos, and Stevino von Rijn were found guilty of kidnapping and human trafficking. and all 3 were sentenced to life imprisonment. The judge stated there were no mitigating factors and emphasized the complete absence of remorse, particularly from Joshlin's mother. He described the crime as the worst betrayal a child could ever experience. Yet, despite the convictions, the case remains unsolved. Joshlin Smith has never been found. No one knows where she is. No one knows if she's alive. Justice was delivered in legal terms, but the outcome remains incomplete. This case is disturbing not because of superstition or mystery, but because of how ordinary the failure was. A child depended on adults who chose drugs and money over responsibility. A mother discussed selling her daughter as if it was a transaction. So the question remains, could this have been prevented with earlier intervention, or was this outcome inevitable from the start? Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.